I'm always ready.
We're always ready. Good evening, everybody, and welcome once again to another session of Shots from the Bench. It's only sports talk, and of course, all opinions are both fabulous and flawed. I'm Bob Wiltman. My co-host is Bob Murphy. Our producer, Greg Malinzuk's behind the scenes, playing with the cameras, tripping over wires, and reminding us it's Pedro Martinez's 45th birthday. Hot diggity dog. We are at Gators Dockside in the beautiful Brownwood section of the Villages. Gators Dockside, they have the tastiest sports in town. We're here every Tuesday nights from 6 to 7, so come on in over, stop on by, join us. If you can't join us, catch us on the internet, www.shotsfromthebench.com. And as a friendly reminder, we are the only sports talk show in the Villages. And that being said, I think we should give a big shout out to that we have a football team on our presence, and I'll tell you what, I don't want to say everybody's getting bigger, but these guys are all twice as big as I was in high school, and I think that some of them are running backs. But we are lucky to be in the presence of the Wildwood football team. So let's hear it for the Wildcats, the Wildwood Wildcats.
All right.
I'll tell you what, if they were playing us, I think they'd be overconfident. And to the coaches. Thank you, coaches. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't get any bigger than tonight, huh? Something's going on.
Something's going on in Cleveland tonight.
Cleveland, okay.
A couple of things, actually. All eyes in the sports world are in Cleveland tonight. You got the World Series, Game 1.
And, you know, this is, I think, the one everybody wanted. I know everybody has their personal choices. But if you can't root for two teams that have really been quote-unquote lovable losers, the Indians haven't won a World Series since '48, so you're looking at
Cubs fan.
68 years. And the Cubs, it's been 108 years. So somebody's going to come out of this smelling like a rose. And I frankly think they got it right. These look like the two best teams from each.
I don't know too many teams that have had to go 108 years to win a World Series. I have to be rooting for them, even though they're favored to win.
You know
what? I like them. I like them to win.
I'm rooting for Cleveland only because I have friends in Cleveland, but I would be just perfectly happy as a clam if the Cubs win their first World Series in 108 years.
Well, it's Cleveland, it's amazing what Terry Francona has done to get to the World Series. He should be, if he already coming in with two World Series championships with Boston, when he was with Boston, and then now with the job he's done in Cleveland with their pitchers being out, a lot of them out for the season or out for a while or whatever. Well, we got one back tonight, but what a job he's done this year with that team. I mean, he certainly, if he wasn't considered for the Hall of Fame, he certainly solidified.
He's a future Hall of Famer, is what you're telling me. Oh, okay. No, that's another rant, but we'll save that for another show.
I believe. Well, anyway, so tonight's game, Game 1 in Cleveland. What do you think about the fact that it's in Cleveland? I mean, do you think the All-Star game should be the determining factor?
Rules are rules. I thought it was.
I know it's the rules.
I thought it was kind of a silly rule to begin with, but I guess they wanted nobody. I guess it was the All-Star game was losing its interest. People weren't watching it that much. The good players were bailing out of it, so they figured the only way they can try to make it have some kind of special meaning is to, like I said. Unfortunate for the Cubs because
it just seems crazy that the best team by far in baseball can't have 4 home games in a World Series.
Well, it seems crazy to me that if the Cubs are that much better, it shouldn't make any difference where they're playing the games. That's my personal opinion. How's that? How's that for cheesy? And the Cubs have Kyle Schwarber back.
Yes, that's amazing. I just saw that the other day.
He hasn't batted for 6 months. I mean, is he going to be able to hit a curveball? I mean, I hope they don't bring him off the bench.
But he got a double in the minors the other day, so he's
doing
ready.
He's ready to go. Doing better than Tim Tebow.
But heck, as their DH though, I mean, he's a good choice for them. DH.
He's a great choice. Great choice for DH if he can hit the ball at all. But I was looking at in the paper they had all the teams lined up against each other, player for player. And the Indians, I was surprised.
I actually have that right here.
They stacked up pretty well against the Cubs until you get to the pitching staff. And when you get to the pitching staff, you got Kluber, and then you got a bunch of guys I'm sorry, Bauer. Nah, I don't think. I mean, he's got a. I'm sorry, he's not Arrieta and he's not Hendricks. I don't get me wrong, and the Indians may pull it out. I'm just saying, on paper, you'd have to look at it and say there's no way that they can beat the Cubs. You'd say that.
Kluber and Gray for 4 days of rain.
Kluber and get an Uber.
Well, you got to remember now, Cleveland's coming into this series. All right, now these are the mighty Cubs. I agree. I mean, they've got everything on paper that you could possibly ask for, and they've shown it.
Yeah.
They're starting pitching. Their relievers. Their infield is the best infield in baseball.
And they're young. And they're young. Holy mackerel, they're young.
You know, but
I can't believe how young
what Cleveland has done to get here. They beat 2 of the best hitting teams in baseball and shut them right down.
Yes, they did.
In Boston Red Sox and the Toronto.
Can't
here's another one.
Can't deny that for a second.
And you know what's interesting about Cleveland? Maybe a little more than the Cubs. The X factor potentially is the fact that they are a team that likes to steal a lot of bases. And take the extra base.
You make a good point.
You know, that creates a lot of that creates a lot of stress on a pitching staff. You know, when you're always looking to see who you're going to have to throw out at second.
Well, you know, Lester doesn't even throw over to first.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take a lead halfway to second, and he doesn't throw over to first.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the threat is there, but he's done it like 3 times in 2 years or something.
Right.
He won't do it. So, I mean, you get like a running start to second if you get on. The problem is you got to get on. And he's been lights out.
I mean, there's some good news with the Indians with Salazar being back.
Yeah,
they're starting.
That's going to help them. Yeah,
you know, they have some balance in that starting rotation. It's not as bad as you.
I
know when you stack it up to the Cubs.
Yeah,
rotation,
it's not Arrieta, Lester.
Right. But these are quality guys who have been doing the job in the last 2 months. Getting them here and getting through the playoffs, shutting down those lineups. And boy, I'll tell you, the story in the bullpen is all about the ex-Yankees. It seems, you know, Aronis Chapman
and Miller.
Miller's been historic.
How about that? The 2 teams that made the World Series, they got those. They went out and got those guys specifically to guarantee them a spot into the playoffs, and they've been riding them.
That's
they've been riding them all the way. So,
but I just don't want to. After the team that the Cubs have assembled, I mean, I want both of them. You can't. If it's possible for both of them to win, I'd like them to win.
I think they can all get trophies.
Yeah, let's all get trophies. That'd be a nice idea. But I think the Cubs deserve it.
But I'll tell you what, Madden.
I wouldn't be mad if Cleveland won, but I mean, I think the Cubs. After this much time, come on,
Madden came out and said he's gonna pitch Lackey in the 4th game. He's not gonna go back to Lester until Game 5 if there's Game 5.
Yeah.
But I mean, which I think is fair and a good thing to do because Lackey was there for him pitching all year, and all of a sudden to just treat him like Yeah.
I think Cleveland would have to win both these games at home to start off to get a really good shot at it. Otherwise, if they lose both, it's over. I mean, there's no way they're going to beat them.
They're going to have trouble if they get down 2-zip. I mean, not tonight. Anybody can lose to Lester, but they're going to have to unlock either Arrieta or Hendricks, and that's going to be tough.
One thing about Cleveland, we've been saying it all year, they have pitchers and relievers that just shut teams down. They shut them down. And who knows when you get both these teams, if the Cubs' offense is not a factor, and the Indians, of course, isn't a factor, who knows what can happen. Late in the game, you could have Chapman and Miller battling game in, and game out.
No question.
You know, so who knows what can happen. But obviously, on paper, the Cubs are pretty much heavy favorites to win. But I'm hoping for a good series.
I'm hoping for a good series too, and like I said, I'm with you. I'm happy no matter who wins. So so I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to watch it. And I would think that this, like I said, being the quote lovable losers they are, I think that these ratings for this series are going to get through the roof. I think everybody wants to see them because
absolutely,
you've got to have a soft spot in your heart for either one of these franchises. So good news for everybody.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. But it's time to ask, who's going to win and how many?
I'm going to take the Cubs in 6 games.
I hate to do this, but I am going to agree with you exactly.
Oh, I'll take the Cubs in 7 games. Change my mind. I can't change it.
No, I just like I said, while I secretly would like Cleveland to win, I'll be happy if Chicago does.
The only reason I say that is I think Corey Grubner could win the game one and maybe a game maybe on 3 days rest.
1, 4, and 7, maybe he can get all the way. But I'll tell you,
this team is really dangerous. The Indians.
Kluber is good, but like I said, Bauer and Tomlin. I don't know. You say they got Salazar back.
Danny Salazar.
That's definitely going to help them. But there've been some. Well, I mean, this is the whole year we watched the good and bad of all these teams, and now you get down. I mean, this worked out just the way I wanted it to, so I couldn't be happier about it.
Remember Toronto's lineup, how formidable it is. And what Cleveland did there.
Well, same with the Baltimore Orioles. They got a bunch of 38 home run hitters that bat 250. Yeah. 250 just ain't that great. I'll take guys on base and have a couple of my guys get hot.
Sure, the Boston Red Sox, what they did to them as well.
No
question. They're not any strangers
they shut
to
the Red Sox down.
Lineups.
I watched the Red Sox on TV all year, and they impressed the heck out of me. Their top 6 hitters were unmatched, but they shut them right down.
Sure.
Unbelievable.
Now, right across the street tonight in Cleveland,
the opening of the NBA.
Within walking distance, right across the street, is the opening of the NBA. Cleveland raising their championship banner tonight in Cleveland. What a night in Cleveland! Wow, I don't remember too many nights in sports in a city quite like that.
I almost feel bad in the sense that.
Yeah,
wouldn't it be nice if they had a couple separate? These are big deals.
I'm sure there's a lot of people in Cleveland who are like, should I go to the first game of the World Series, or should I go watch the banner go up?
Well, do you see the price? You see the prices they're getting for the tickets, and they're getting $6-7 grand a seat
for the World Series.
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to go watch the banner.
I'll watch the banner go up for 180 or whatever they're charging.
Heck with the World Series.
But I'll tell you what. As we're wrapping down the first quarter here, this is what we were rooting for, and we got what we're waiting for. The Cubs deserve to be there. The Indians deserve to be there. Somebody's going to lose the lovable loser.
I hope
tag.
they put on a good show. That's all I hope.
I'll bet they do. And that being said, I'll tell you what. That's our preamble to what's going to be a great World Series. We will be back with the second quarter of Shots from the Bench from Gators Dockside right after this. And before we get into the NFL, a couple things occurred over this week that I wanted to get your takes on. Okay. First, and I have to admit, I'm usually pretty obnoxious in some of my picks, but I have a friend of mine who went to Penn State, and he actually had his Penn State jersey on Saturday morning, and I did the most despicable mock of Penn State. I went through their whole sordid past and how they'll never play football again. And why do they play teams like Ohio State? They should be playing Youngstown State. Ooh. And luckily I haven't run into him since. I don't know if that's by accident or if I'm avoiding him. But one of these days I'm going to meet my Waterloo on that. But the fact of the matter is, let's talk about that. You think special teams can't win a football game? I think that game should very much explain that special teams really important in football.
Special teams are always very important. There's all different aspects of the game: your offense, your defense, your special teams. Certainly. I'm a Vikings fan. That's what killed them is a 98-yard kickoff return,
there you go.
Punt return rather. That's what they're there for.
You prepare and you prepare and you prepare, but special teams are such an important part.
Yeah.
And that's the great equalizer.
The one play, it just takes one play to change a game, a tight game, so yeah.
Well, I wanted to, that's the one thing I wanted to talk about. And the second one I want to talk about, and maybe you can help me with the pronunciation, is this running back for the Dolphins who had 200-yard games back to back. Do you remember his? Can you?
I don't have
I
his
don't.
name.
I can't pronounce it even if I did. But the fact of the matter is,
I know he did though.
here's a. I think this is a really cool trivia question, which I don't think anybody's going to be answer here, but it's happened 4 times in the history of the NFL. Once, twice by one guy, where they back-to-back 200-yard games, and so there are 3 guys that have done it in the past, and one isn't in the Hall of Fame. And I'm going to blow the guy that's done it twice is the hint is he murdered his wife and a waiter. So that's a good hint. I think that's going to maybe throw that one out. But so you got that one, and the other one is Earl Campbell, who did it back to back.
Okay.
But the one I want to hear is the guy didn't make it into the Hall of Fame that did it back to back, 200-yard games. Fairly big name. He was a Heisman winner. How's that for a hint?
Wow.
So, but he did make it in the Hall of Fame.
Can't think of who that is.
Well, I've thrown that out. We'll see if anybody comes up with that. But
maybe we can
more
think of it
importantly, let's talk about the 6-6 tie, Seattle and Arizona.
Yes.
Now, here's my point.
That messed up our records.
Why would we want to keep having a tie in the NFL?
Why couldn't the 2 quarterbacks have an arm wrestle or something?
But every other sport, except soccer, I know that Greg was going to chime in with soccer has ties.
How about you send over your strongest player, and I'll send over my strongest player, and we'll have a arm wrestling contest in the middle of the field, and the crowd would go crazy.
I think the people would love it. I'm allowed to pick from your team somebody to try to kick a 35-yard field goal, and you pick somebody from my team. And in fact, actually, with Seattle and Arizona, you could actually pick their actual kickers, and it would be like, chances are they wouldn't make it. But what a unique situation. They both coming down in overtime. One guy misses a 24-yard field goal to win the game.
Yep.
Other team comes down and misses a 28-yard field goal to win the game. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's amazing.
In professional sports.
It shouldn't be. There's got to be a way to create a win there somewhere.
And I think a comment on the coaches involved, and I'm not a big fan of Carroll's, but Carroll, he said on camera, he's still my guy. Bruce Arians said he gets paid to make those, which I thought was,
That's right.
I think there was a subliminal message
Right.
put there. So that being said, let's talk a little bit about how we did or didn't do. You got another
I just
one?
want to get this off my chest because
Sure.
I did kind of hint at it a little bit about the NBA. I'm not going to go into next week I'm going to do my
The NBA.
preseason pick type thing, preseason prognostication. But I just want to say there's 3 games in the NBA today. And to me, it's equal to the opening of Major League Baseball season. Opening day in baseball is a big thing. It's too bad it's on the same night as the World Series, like you said. But we got 3 games tonight. You got in Cleveland, you got the Knicks. Who knows what they're going to be like? But at least it's the opening night of the NBA. Every game counts, especially when you're trying to get off to a good start. And then later tonight, you got the Jazz at Portland.
Yeah.
And that's a good, potentially good good playoff teams this year.
All right.
And then the Spurs at the Warriors, which is a very good game to start the season.
Who left the Spurs outside of Duncan? Did anybody else?
No. No one else.
Duncan's the only one left?
They brought in Paul Gasol to be their starting center, and that's a nice
Ginobili
replacement
still playing for him?
I think he retired.
Oh, okay. All right. So he's gone
He's the
too.
only one I think that retired. Besides.
On the commissioner's list for that state, saying that the opening of basketball is just like the opening of baseball.
All right.
It is to NBA. It is to my
what you're missing,
producer doesn't think
you're
that
missing,
the NBA,
folks. The producer doesn't find
it is to people who follow
NBA
the
basketball as scintillating as the opening day of baseball season. And
there's 162 games in baseball and 82 in basketball.
Yeah, and none of those count.
But when as a baseball fan as well, I'm very into the opening day, just like all you guys are. It's important, but I'm just saying there's 3 games tonight. Interesting to see because we've been waiting since the summer to see how Kevin Durant's gonna blend in with all those stars in Golden State, and what the Spurs are going to look like, and of course the raising of the NBA banner. So it's a good start. It's exciting. Probably in the next few weeks there wasn't be as much interest in the NBA, but opening day has an effect, just like in any sport. It's just too bad it's on the same night as the World Series. That's all I wanted to get off my
Well,
chest.
you got it off your chest.
Next week we'll talk about it.
All right, but
Now we can
now
talk
we
about
talk about football picks that we made.
So last week, you
I
had a
don't know
pretty
if
good
I want to
week.
hear this. I do.
You had a pretty good week.
I do want to hear this.
You had a pretty good week. Last Thursday night, you had, I believe it was Thursday night, the Giants and the Rams. You took the Rams.
I lost.
That was the London game on Sunday morning.
Okay, that was Sunday morning. That's correct.
But I
that was,
still lost it.
How many people watched that game?
Oh, wait a minute. If it's played outside the country, it doesn't count.
Oh, it doesn't?
No,
Okay, let me cross that one off. then.
that
Well,
worked.
you did better than I thought. Well, anyway, I took the Giants 17-10. Wasn't a really thrilling game, but they made it happen.
I'll tell you what, they're winning, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
You got to win.
Chicago at Green Bay. We both took Green Bay.
There was a stretch. But in Chicago, they're doing Cleveland now. Let's see how many quarterbacks can you lose. Now Cutler's back. I like their coach saying he's our starting quarterback. No kidding. After everybody else broke their leg, you got to put him back
That's true.
in.
That's true. We had the Saints at Kansas City. We both took Kansas City, and we both won.
Good.
We had the Colts. You took the Colts
took the
at
Colts.
Tennessee,
Thank you.
And
Thank you
you
very
won.
much. Thank you very much.
which I still can't
Don't know
figure
how that
out.
happened. Yeah.
Andrew Luck had a pretty good game. Here's an interesting one. We both took the Vikings at the Eagles. Didn't see that one coming as much because their Vikings offensive line has had some injuries that I didn't realize it was going to be that important for them, but apparently
You know
it
what?
is.
But all it does is show me the home field in football, professional football, is probably the greatest thing you can have on your side. It is, for some reason, the
Do you know that
big
game opened up?
equalizer.
That game opened up with 5 straight turnovers. 5 straight turnovers.
Wow.
Interception, fumble, I think another interception. It was amazing. It was unbelievable. I've never seen that
Well,
happen.
both teams, I don't know if they're on a roll, but the Vikings weren't going to go 16-0, but I still think they're the class of their division.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can. They better get that leaky offensive line straightened out, or else we're going to be in trouble.
If they're leaking oil, that's not good. You're right about that.
I think they will with Norv Turner. They'll figure out something to get that going.
Tell
But
me,
we'll
tell
see.
me other ones that I won. Maybe I did.
Okay, we both won. Bengals with the Browns at the Bengals. No surprise there.
That was a tough one.
We both won with the Redskins at the Lions. That could have been a
That could have
different
been
event,
a-
but though Matthew Stafford's really playing well.
Matthew Stafford right now, and I love when other big guys do this too. If they were to give the MVP out right now, I like that. But Matthew Stafford would be, at this point, there's nobody playing better football in the NFL than Matthew Stafford.
Yeah,
He's
that's,
playing that well.
Definitely.
He's really playing well.
We had Oakland. We both took Oakland at
Ooh.
Jacksonville, and we won big on
Oh,
that one.
that's right. They played Jacksonville. That's right.
36-16, we
Ooh.
won that one. And then we had, who do we have here? Oh, the Bills.
You had the
Oh,
Bills, I believe.
You took Miami.
I
took
took
the
Miami.
Bills. Now, why wouldn't I? They were on a roll going into Miami. You just wanted to go. You just felt something. You felt something. What was it?
I just thought that
The home team. You wanted the
Miami
home-
looks like they've got their offensive line back together. They played, not that they pounded the Steelers, but they looked fairly comfortable handling the Steelers.
yeah.
And I thought Tannehill looks like he's
Well-
getting protection, and he's not a world beater yet, but he's a competent quarterback.
It's amazing what a running game can do for you.
Oh yeah.
You know.
200 yards from your halfback? Yeah, that's going to help.
Running game makes your quarterback look like
Oh,
Tom Brady.
You got that right.
All right, so next game we had was the Ravens at the Jets. I took the Ravens. You
I
took the
took the
Jets. You
Jets.
beat me again on that.
Well,
one. Who would have thought the Jets would win?
But who? And how
I mean,
about
who would you? Why would you do that?
how's
even
our
question you.
time?
What,
We
are you
have what, a
crazy?
minute? About a little over a minute. Then I'll wait for because I want to talk a little bit about Ryan.
I want to talk a little
Fitzpatrick.
about that game.
Ryan Fitzpatrick didn't exactly endear himself to the masses.
Well,
but
how much time we got?
We'll get back to him.
Okay.
But I'm just going. Let's talk more about the great pick I made because
Oh, that was a
I
great
knew
pick.
that there was going to be controversy, and I knew that Geno Smith was going to get hurt, and I knew that Fitzpatrick will have to come in and try not to lose that game for them. And,
Well, I mean, I mean, going into that game, that was a really gutsy pick, to be honest with you. Because going into that game, the Ravens were playing really well,
But the Jets-
and the Jets were in disarray.
The Jets aren't that bad. And eventually you figure it out. And I just thought, the Ravens aren't like world beaters. I said, here's a team.
I've never trusted Geno Smith.
Jets got a
Never.
chance to rally the troops, and I think they took advantage of it. So I'll tell you what, we're back. Now we are ready to go into the tunnel. It's halftime. We're going to get back, and we're going to talk
get back
about
to this game.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. We're going to talk about how
That's
we
right.
finish up how we did and how we're going to do. And we got lots more to talk about here on Shots from the Bench. We'll be back with the second half right after this. We're back with the third quarter. We're out of the tunnel, out of the locker room. We're all fired up. I can tell you are, Bob. Coach took it out of us at halftime, but as always, we tell them we'll turn it around, and we never get it going. And I'm kind of comfortable that way. I don't know about you, Bob. But
Absolutely.
That's what I mean. That's the way we like to do it.
That's the way we like to do it.
We're, like I said, we're back with the third quarter here. Shots from the bench at beautiful Gators Dockside, and we were going to talk about the Jets finally having a signature win, if you want to call it that, against the Ravens,
That's right.
who needed the game. But
Right.
their quarterback, Fitzpatrick, who got benched because, frankly, he hadn't been playing that well.
Playing awful.
He got to go back in
That's what he
because the guy that started the game hurt himself.
Well,
And
Geno Smith went down. Turns out to be a season-ending ACL injury.
Bad ACL. Yeah.
Okay. He was put in because of the real bad play in the last few weeks of Ryan Fitzpatrick, who, by the way, was signed to a multi-year deal. Was it multi-year or 1 year? One-year deal, but with a lot of money.
Move. Yeah.
For the Jets, which he was sitting almost to the end of training camp. He didn't come in. No one wanted him. No one would take him. Even
Right.
though he had a great year, everybody looked at him like, well, he had a career year. He's not going to do it again. That's what they said. So, but the Jets finally brought him on, and you know, over the first couple of games, he looked halfway decent. You know, looked pretty good. But then he's been really, really bad. So,
Yeah.
Geno Smith, their former starter,
Yeah.
they benched him this past week, brought him in, and apparently it really ticked off Ryan Fitzpatrick. But we didn't hear about that till after
the fact.
the game.
Yeah.
So he comes in for an injured Geno Smith and just leads them to victory.
Yes, that's
And
right.
played awesome, played really
He
well.
played very well. There's no question about
but
it.
it's what he said afterwards that you know, he was, excuse my expression, pissed off.
He threw a lot of people under the bus.
He threw a lot of people. His owner, his GM,
Everybody.
and
Everybody.
coach. They don't respect me. They don't like me.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. But you know what? Hey, they're the only team. Ryan, if I could talk to you, they're the only team that gave you a contract
That's
that was
right.
even interested in giving you a contract. If your poor play, you know, if you're playing that bad, the team has to do something else.
Oh, there's no question.
Yeah.
He knows that. He knows that. But I believe me, he wouldn't have been mouthing off if they had if he played poorly and they lost. The fact that they won and he rallied the troops made it easier for him to say whatever he wanted to say, and nobody could do anything about it. So
He says the team is his, that they respect him more, and blah 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 blah. I'm sure that's going to do great in the clubhouse with Geno Smith and
I
others
don't
there.
like I said, Ryan. I think don't be surprised if Ryan doesn't get sacked a couple times next week.
I mean, he's the kind of guy who's hot and cold.
Yes,
he
is.
can look like
You're right.
unbelievable, and then have several bad games. So
No question.
But it turned out to be the right move on Sunday. That's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what. And
Let's finish up these.
Yeah, go right ahead. Let's.
So we just finished up these last week's picks. We both took the Tampa Bay at San Francisco.
Can't beat
Big
it.
win for Tampa Bay.
Big win.
34-17. Jameis Winston and everyone there. We both took Atlanta, and we got beat. San Diego, Phillip Rivers came in there and beat them 33-30.
Atlanta had the game. They piped.
That's right. That's right.
They piped in overtime.
We both took the Patriots at the Steelers. No surprise there. I
No
don't think.
surprise. No.
With
Steelers played
Steelers
well.
secondary
Steelers
wasn't-
played well. They're not as good as the
Right.
Patriots. Bottom line.
Here's the game. Here's the tie game. I gave us both a tie on that one, obviously. I took Seattle. You took the
I took
Cardinals.
Arizona.
Congratulations. You got
Thank
you
you.
got a tie. Thank you.
If only we'd made a field goal, we'd have won. And you probably are thinking the same thing.
So I gave us a tie.
And-
I couldn't give you a loss, and you couldn't give me a win.
But before we get into this week's picks, and we'll get into that, a real quick shout out to Brock Osweiler. Yeah, and I'm not,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not dumping on him. 18
yeah,
million,
right.
18 million is 18 million for 4 years. If somebody's going to pay, God bless you, but let's not throw for 140 yards with 41 passes. Please don't ever do that again. I don't want to see that. That
Well,
was,
Trevor Simeon looked like the guy that should be getting the big money.
that's
to be
right.
honest
Well,
with you, in that game.
that's what's happening. Yeah.
You know,
So.
and he's a good young quarterback. I mean, Osweiler is still young.
You gotta throw
he's
the
still
ball.
young enough as
I'm
a
not mad at
NFL
him. I'm
quarterback.
mad at throw the
He'll
ball
come
down
around.
the field. Come on, throw
Right.
it down the field.
I mean, I
Throw
see
it
a lot
accu-
of passes where he's throwing, a guy's wide open and he's throwing
throw
way
it,
over his head.
throw
way
it
away from-
accurately down the
Yeah,
field.
I mean, he missed a lot of open receivers.
that's for sure.
Sure.
Okay, so what do you got this week?
This week, okay, let's get right into it quickly here, because I know we got some more stuff coming up
you
here.
better believe.
We got the Jags, Jacksonville Jaguars at the Titans. Who we
I'm
going
gonna
with that?
take Tennessee.
I agree with you on that one.
Okay,
We got the Redskins at the Bengals.
that's another good game, but I'm gonna take the Bengals.
I'm going to take them as well.
All right,
A.J. Green, number one receiver in football right now.
good receiver, great receiver.
We have the Cardinals at the Panthers. At the Panthers. Cam Newton is playing.
I'm gonna still go with the Cardinals.
I'm going to go with the Cardinals.
Are you with me 3 for 3 for that? I love
I
it.
am
Okay.
so far. We got
All right.
something's going to change.
Yeah, what
we
we-
got Matthew Stafford and the Lions at the Texans. Brock Osweiler.
I'm gonna go with Matthew Stafford.
So am I. We got the Seahawks at the Saints, and Drew Brees is having a great year.
Yeah, but they're not winning games.
Seahawks defense.
I'm gonna pick. Although I guess Wilson's still hurt. I'll tell you what. No, I'm gonna take the Saints. I'm gonna take the Saints in that game.
You know, I have a feeling about that. I'm going to do the same thing. It's because I'm not impressed with Seattle's offense. Obviously,
No.
after the game they just
Wilson's hurt, and
But their defense is playing well
Their
enough, but-
their line's not
Yeah,
playing well.
right.
Offensive line is not playing well.
We got the Chiefs at the Colts. Now that's an interesting game.
That's really an interesting game.
Andrew Luck's been playing well.
Yes, he has. But I'll be interested to see what you pick on this. But I think the Chiefs have found their karma. I'm going to pick the Chiefs.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Colts
There
on
you
that.
go. There's a
Just to be different.
separation.
Got to have a little difference here. All right, the Jets are at the Browns. Okay.
I'm going to take the Browns.
You're going to take the Browns.
Yes,
the
I
first
am.
win of the season.
Yep.
You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm taking
the
the Browns.
will win their first
Browns will
game
beat the Jets
this week against the Jets. You heard it right here live.
With Ryan
gonna
Fitzpatrick
go with the Jets.
leading the Jets. I still think the Browns will win.
I will take the Jets
Okay.
all day on
All
that
right.
one, my friend.
I can't say I understand why.
We got the Pats at the Bills. Now they're looking for revenge in that game.
Ooh. Yeah.
With Tom Brady in tow and the way they're playing at the Bills, that's a revenge game right
I
there.
just don't see the Bills offensively doing enough to stop the
I don't either.
to outscore the Patriots.
I'm with you on that one.
All right.
The Raiders are at Tampa Bay.
That's a really that's an intriguing
That's an interesting game.
I'm not a believer in Tampa Bay yet. So I'm going to pick Oakland. Oakland, I think, is arrived. I don't think Tampa Bay. I think they're very inconsistent. They play decent 1 week. That's a tough one for you. I
That's
know
a
that.
tough. I'm going to go with the home team.
All right, I like it. So, that's what we're talking about.
I'm going with the home team. Okay, we got the Chargers at the Broncos.
Chargers at the Broncos.
At Broncos. That's right.
I'll give you an interesting pick. I'm going to go with San Diego.
Really?
Yes.
You seem to like that. You did that this past week
Yeah.
too, didn't you? Pick them?
Yeah. I think they.
All right, I'm going to go with
offensively.
the Broncos.
I don't think the Broncos can rack up the points like San Diego.
You're going with Phillip Rivers. He had a
Yes.
good game this past week. Here's a very good game. Might be one of the best games of the week. Is Packers at the Falcons. Packers at the Falcons.
I think the Falcons. I'm going to predict not only will the Falcons win, the Falcons will win by at least 2 touchdowns.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think the Packers can generate enough offense to compete with.
That's a tough game, though. Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with you because I'm rooting for the Falcons. I'm rooting for them because
All right.
I'm a Vikings fan. Okay. Eagles at the Cowboys. Ooh, that's a good game.
Wow, is that a good game?
That's a really good game.
The Eagles
They looked really good against Minnesota.
I'm going to pick the Eagles.
You're going to pick the Eagles?
Yes.
I am going to go against you on that one.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys, their offensive line, and the number 1
Yes.
rusher in football,
Yes.
Ezekiel Elliott,
Ezekiel Elliott
to
is
control
the real
that
deal.
line of scrimmage
He is the real deal, no question about it.
and keep those defensive players away from Dak Prescott. Or is it
Absolutely.
Tony Romo? We don't know. I don't know if
We
he's
don't
playing.
know.
We'll see. And then the Monday night game, Monday night, the Vikings looking to rebound at Chicago Bears. and hey, but there's an X factor here now. Jay Cutler is back starting for the Bears, so that's got to help
I was
them,
on
right?
the fence until you told me that. I'm going with the Vikings.
I am too. Even though they have a leaky offensive line, which I hope they fix soon, I just don't see Chicago having enough to pressure Bradford, and I think the Vikings defense will have a field day with Jay Cutler. So
I love it.
that's what I think.
Well, that's great.
Anyway.
and like I said, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but $18 million a year for 4 years for Brock Osweiler. The coach got to let him throw the ball down the field a little bit. I know he hasn't been especially accurate, but when it's 3rd and 9 and he's throwing 3-yard swing passes, no wonder you guys are having a little trouble offensively moving the ball. How about taking a crack at a first down once in a while?
That's right. That's right.
So, I mean, he's going to get some heat. He's going to get some heat from me, too, because he hasn't been very accurate. But for crying out loud, let's...
I want to give you, just real quick, just to throw it out there,
All right.
see if there's any surprises. I don't think there's any surprises.
Yeah.
The stat leaders in the NFL, just the top 2 guys, top 3 guys in each category, okay?
Bring it.
Passing yards, Matt Ryan leads the NFL
That doesn't surprise
in
me.
passing yards.
He threw for 500.
Drew Brees, number 2.
Not always.
Andrew
400.
Luck, number 3. Andrew
That's
Luck's really
surprising.
rebounded this year.
I guess he has. I had no idea
know.
he was doing that well.
Yeah.
But Breeze is 400 yards every time he throws, whether they score 10 or 50 points. And Ryan's just really been remarkable.
Andy Dalton's number 4, and Phillip Rivers. Again, we keep mentioning his name's number
old
5. He's no
gunslinger.
surprise. He's very good. In touchdown passes, Drew Brees 17, Matt Ryan 16, Ben Roethlisberger. I think is he out for the season or no?
He's, I think, out for a couple more weeks.
A couple more weeks, but he's still hanging in there at number 2, tied for 2 with Ryan, and then Matthew Stafford and Andrew Luck right there with him.
I'll tell you what, that's going to wrap it up for the 3rd quarter. We got those are just your favorite stars in action, all you fantasy guys. But I'll tell you what, that's spectacular. We have a special guest coming in the 4th quarter, so we are going to be back with that special guest, and we'll be back with shots from the bench here at Gators Dockside right after this.
You gonna start the 4th with him?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
We'll go 5
Then we
minutes.
can get into.
We are back with the 4th and final quarter shots from the bench here from Gators Dockside and the beautiful Brownwood section of the Villages. And I have a very, very special guest with me. This young man's name is DeMarlon Lawler. And DeMarlon plays for the Wildwood Wildcats. And get this, because I played football in high school, but I wouldn't put up with this. This guy's got it all. Not only is he a quarterback, not only is he a linebacker, so he's playing both ways, but he's the captain of the football team, and he's a sophomore. How cool is that? That's fantastic. I want you to tell me, DeMarlon, quarterback, linebacker, what do you prefer? Come on.
I prefer middle linebacker.
You do?
Yes, sir.
No, you're going to have to tell me why.
Because I like to tackle. I like to be on scene. I like to fly around on the ball, and I just like to be loud.
You like hitting as opposed to getting hit?
Yes.
I love that. But so you get you're playing linebacker and you come off the field, you stop the other team. Now you got to wear another hat and go back on there. How tough is that? That's got to be tough.
It is really tiring.
Now you have to talk to both the offense and the defense. So you're basically the captain. You're giving the defense a pep talk, and then you're the quarterback of the team. You're giving the offense a pep talk.
Yes, sir.
So you're going to share with me which guys don't try that hard? Come on.
I can't really say. They both give it a all on both sides of the ball.
Now let me tell you something. Let me ask you something. When do you start practicing? Are you a three-sport man or just a football player, or do you play all the other ones?
Just a football player.
Good for you. That's fantastic. Now, do you go to the camps and stuff during the summer, or? I
haven't went to a camp yet, but I'm planning on going to a camp.
You are planning on going.
Yes,
That's
sir.
fantastic. Is this something that you want to continue?
Yes, sir.
Into college and stuff? And I'm going to ask, you want to play pro ball someday?
Yes, sir.
That's good. Now, that's worthwhile. That's what I like. But I'll tell you what. I want you to tell me, first of all, two things. Who's your inspiration from a professional standpoint?
From a professional standpoint, on defense is Vernon Hargreaves III.
Sure.
He's my favorite defensive player.
How about offensively?
Offense, my favorite player is Cam Newton.
Cam Newton. You can't go wrong with Cam Newton. And after especially the year he had last year. And I'll tell you what, I'd like you to also tell me, and I'm putting you on the spot here, but who's an inspiration to you that's not a pro football player, somebody that's not playing professional sports? Who do you really look up to?
My grandfather.
No kidding.
Yes.
Now, is he still alive?
Yes, sir.
Oh, fantastic. Does he come to your games?
Yes, sir.
Oh, is that great? Oh, was he a player himself?
Yes, sir.
It figures. I'll tell you what, with the quality of people like this, no wonder football's taken off. You can imagine this guy has the charisma it takes to just, if I was playing on the team with him, I'd be listening to every word he has to say. You've won me over already. I want to thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you.
DeMarlon, thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
go Wildcats, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Let's hear it for DeMarlon. Whoa. Thank you. And we're going to kick you out. We're not going to. I like you there a lot better than Murphy. Murphy, get in here. Look, he's in the middle of a drink. No. DeMarlon, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Now, sorry, I have to apologize to you folks watching, but now the camera is going from a nice, smiling, friendly guy to Murphy, a surly guy who picks bad football teams.
I think he does a better job than I do,
think
actually.
He's very articulate. He is the man. I'll tell you what.
I don't think there's anything that kid can't do.
I'll tell you what. Can you imagine being not only a sophomore,
Wow.
but you're the captain and you're the quarterback and a linebacker. That's like I'm just. I didn't want to put him on the spot. Obviously, the guy's got more skill than you can shake a stick at. I just think that's fantastic. But what I really liked about him, you see how respectful he is, and how nice a guy is.
Oh, yeah.
That wins me over right off the spot. But now you had a couple things you wanted to talk about going into the fourth quarter here. You said you had a few things to bring up. A little college football.
Well, we have a new top 4 in college football.
Yeah, how about that?
Something about Ohio State.
How do Ohio State?
What were you telling me? Penn State shouldn't be playing.
I said to the guy from Penn State, I said, "Well, you got to be kidding. In Penn State, they're lucky if they can beat the Little Sisters of the Poor." And
that's right. Well, because of Penn State's upset of Ohio State. We have a new top 4, and it's important this time of year as you start getting down to the wire here, the last few weeks of the season, because starting next week they start calculating the power rankings for the top 4 semifinals.
Now they're going to be jockeying big time for the top 4. That's right.
So you got Alabama at number 1, no surprise.
No, of course not. You know what? They've answered the call every week. My hat's off to them.
That's right.
They really outplayed Texas A&M, and it wasn't as close as the score.
Right.
I mean, they just, I think, dominated them.
Michigan slid up to number 2 because of Ohio State.
How does Harbaugh do it? He must be a heck of a coach. I think he's nuts, but he's a heck of a coach, I guess.
Kids want to play for him.
I know. There's no question about it.
No doubt about it.
No question.
Clemson moved up to number 3 from 4.
Okay.
And of course, with
Washington, I'll bet.
Maybe we have another Deshaun Watson sitting here. Being that he's a quarterback.
Oh, yeah. I think that's fantastic.
And
who's 4? Is it
and
Washington?
The 4 is Washington. They were 5. They moved up. So,
I'll tell you what. If they win out, there's your 4. I mean, that's it doesn't get any better than that. That's 4 really, really good football teams. And I know Washington gets it takes a few lumps because some teams in the Pac-10, they're not as deep, I think, as a conference, but they're playing. The Huskies are playing some football this year. Honestly,
it's an exciting time of year right now. You got
this is
the
fantastic.
World Series, you got the NBA starting, you got college football in full gear, getting down to the wire. You got with all the big important games, really important games coming up. Hockey starting. It's just a lot of things going on.
Well, it's amazing that there's something for everybody. It seems like they're all growing somehow. I don't know how that's possible, but good grief, there is more coverage of all of these sports with all of the different channels. So anybody that says there's nothing on is just lying to you. I mean, it's unbelievable. I can put on, even on my TV, I can watch. And it's great college hockey. I mean, a lot of people don't like hockey. College, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. The kids are skilled. They're great. They all end up going to the pros.
Yep.
Because nobody watches college hockey, you'd never hear of them. But they're great players.
Absolutely.
I hardly endorse anybody if you got the chance and you see that there's like a Boston College, Boston or Quinnipiac, or they're all these North Dakota, they're all great, really great hockey schools. Watch them because you'll swear you're watching a pro game. They're that good. They're that good.
Yeah, well they are. I think you like them too.
But
what do you think? I just want to change gears real quick.
Go ahead.
We got the World Series. There's all this talk about this kid Steve Bartman throwing out the first pitch in the. Do you know a little bit about him? Don't you?
I only know that I caught a ball that I'm not sure was
2003,
catchable.
I think it was.
Yeah,
is that worthy of having a guy? Now, was he disabled or something, or what?
No. He just screwed their chance of getting the World Series.
He interfered with a play, reached out into the.
Okay, he interfered.
And I think it was going to be caught too.
So why would that deserve to be?
Because his team had a chance to get into the World Series if he hadn't done it. So. And I remember they kept showing him on camera. Everybody's booing, and they put him on the Tron, the Arbitron, Scoretron, whatever they call it. And he's there with his little hat, and it was boo. And I don't know how I guess he's still getting along in Chicago. They haven't forgiven him, I'm sure. But I'm sure if they win this year that they'll forgive him because that's the way we are as a public.
Yeah, I don't know. Is he actually going to do it, or is it they're just talking about it? What's going on?
Talking about it, yeah.
So apparently he's not going to do it because it's tonight.
Well, no, I mean
some other game.
The first
some
one
other
in
game.
Chicago.
Oh, the first one in Chicago.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, who cares?
I don't know, but
doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But I'm excited about tonight personally as a sports fan. I can't wait to watch some of the World Series. I just hope the Knicks don't get beat too bad. I just want them to make a good presentation.
You're a big Knicks fan?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I don't want them to get beat too bad. I think they will get beat. But,
is that Porzingis or Porzingis?
I love the kid. I love Porzingis. He's a great player. Only a second year. How he mixes, how good that team is going to be how they use him and how much better he's gotten. And he looks like he's gotten better.
East European meal Porzingis.
Well, the Knicks
I apologize for my producers shouting things over the camera.
The Knicks
you
have
probably
a lot
can't
of
hear it, but it's not worth it.
Have a lot of foreign or European players on their team, a la the Spurs. They're having the same kind of. I mean, when you have no draft picks, then you'd be. So they got Porzingis. They got a young kid from Latvia. Can't think of his name right now. But,
who is their coach?
It is
not Mark Jackson.
No,
I'm just taking guesses here. I'm living in the '90s here. I think it's Van Gundy.
It's Jeff Hornacek. Jeff Hornacek.
Oh, is Hornacek the coach? How about that? Okay, I thought he was.
And I
still
think
playing.
Last year they were 22-22 after 44 games.
Yeah.
And they lost one of their great defensive glue guys, Lance Thomas, who came in off the bench, started some games, and they went downhill from there. And so they won 10 more games the rest of the season. All right. Well, this year they have a much better team, and with Noah and
who have they acquired? Oh, they got Yannick Noah.
Yannick Noah, and he's been playing well in the preseason. Brandon Jennings and Derrick Rose at the guards, and they got Courtney Lee they picked up. And then you got the development of Porzingis and, of course, Carmelo Anthony. being who he is. Their bench, a lot of people don't know their bench, but they brought in some young players who seem to be playing well together. There's one kid from Spain, Willie Gomez, who is a very good young-looking player, and then another small forward from Latvia who looks very good as well. So very interesting how a team could be unknown in some respects and look,
I think the key is going to be Derrick Rose, isn't he? Because, Derrick Rose, if he's recovered to where he can be...
Well, he just got over his trial out in California. Well, he was sued, had to go through all that.
All right.
And he played one preseason game, so this is like his second preseason game, only it's the regular thing.
Well,
he's only been back to practice for 3 days.
Assuming he doesn't get incarcerated. Actually, no. I'm.
It's funny. Before all his problems, he was looked at as a really good young guy. He says he screwed up, and he wants to make himself a better man. So we'll see. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Like I said, as you know, we're a society that gives guys second chances. So let's take it. But okay, I'll drop this on you as we're into our last minute. Who's going to win the NBA this year?
Well, I think as Cleveland and even though I'm rooting for a particular team, and whether it's the Knicks, some people around here are the Magic, whatever, but it's going to come down to Cleveland and Golden State again in the final. Those are clearly the two best teams in the NBA.
I agree.
Everything.
My concern is that
maybe we should just forget about the rest of it and just let them play now.
Aren't those two teams capable of winning 70 games? I think they're both going to win 75 games.
Well, I don't know about 75
that's really
games.
making it top heavy. Who's going to beat Cleveland? Who's going to beat Golden State?
Pardon?
I don't see who's going to beat Golden State, unless they play Cleveland. Cleveland,
there's really no one in the Eastern Conference that's going to challenge
Cleveland. I don't see anybody even having a close to a claim on either of those teams.
That's right.
So that's the only thing I think is going to hurt the NBA this year is that it's top heavy in two teams. Right. Two teams significantly better. Oklahoma.
The only thing that you can hope for, you don't want to hope for an injury, but the only thing that could be a factor is if someone goes down.
Absolutely.
You don't know what's going to happen. That's why you play.
I'll tell you what. Well, that wraps it up here. I'll tell you what. 4 good quarters. The coach, we're probably going to find a pink slip in our locker room, but in the meantime, we are done, and we will be back next week from Gators Dockside with another edition. And I'm saying this for Bob Murphy and Greg Malinzuk, our producer. I want to thank you for joining us. We're back with another edition next week of Shots from the Bench. Thanks.
All right.